So, the OP of today's story had a trust fund from her deceased father. When OP goes to try to cash in this said trust fund, guess what? Nothing's there. And this is exactly why. I'm a minor. I'm about to start my last year of high school. I'm currently living in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. My mom passed away when I was 2 and we lived in Vancouver at the time. My dad remarried when I was 8 years old, and I ended up becoming the youngest kid in the family. My stepmom has always been mentally unstable and hates me in general. My dad passed away 6-ish years ago from cancer. Before my dad passed away, he told me that there was a trust set up for me, with a fair amount of money to pay for my university from his first wife. He also told me that his will was set up to ensure that I would not need to worry about anything for university, or need to worry about money. He told me over and over that I would have been taken care of no matter what. Earlier this month, my stepmom made a comment vaguely, asking how I expected to pay for college on minimum wage. I told her what my dad told me, and she said that everything my dad had left was spent to take care of the family, and to send my older step-siblings to university. She said it was first come, first serve. She also has absolutely refused to help me in any way, as it's, quote, a waste of her time. I've ripped apart the house trying to find any sort of paperwork from my mom or dad's estate, but I can't find anything. I've tried to talk with 2 lawyers who specialize in estates and wills. The first one told me he could not do a consult with a minor unless my guardian is present. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. The other one basically wanted a lot of money to even do anything, which I don't have. I've also tried to reach out to my estranged part of my mom's family. Her sister was able to dig up something with the name of the company who took care of the estate, but that company's no longer seeming to exist. My dad, on the other hand, was an only child, and as long as I remembered, I did not remember anyone else from his family, nor could I find anything. I don't really know where to look or what to do at this point. I'm terrified that my stepmother used this money to pay for all these frivolous bullshit she's wasted money on and pay for my siblings to go to college. I'm also terrified that if there is really no money, then I'm basically going to be screwed. I need to get away from my stepmother no matter what. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. That's an incredibly tough situation for OP to be in, and man, that stepmother seems toxic. There's a complete update for this story that we're about to hop into. If you're enjoying the content so far, the best way to support me is just by clicking that like button underneath this video right now. Okay, here's the update. I just wanted to say thank you to all the advice and help I received. I was able to get in touch with an awesome lawyer who specializes in wills and trust, who, after explaining my whole situation to, he was willing to do the discovery for free. He was able to find that I not only have 1 trust, but 2 trusts for me. One of the trusts was set up a long time ago, most likely by my mother, and is still intact and safe, which was more than enough for me. Unfortunately, the second trust was most likely improperly set up and handled, as it seems to have been emptied about 2 years ago. He gave me a bunch of more useful advice and gave me detailed instructions on how to use the trust properly, along with a bunch of recommendations to ensure the money is not touched by my stepmother or siblings. I also managed to talk to my step-siblings and basically learned this. They both considered themselves estranged from my stepmother. My older stepbrother pays for her utilities and rent, but that's it. They aren't on speaking terms in any way, and recommended me to get out right away. And apparently, my stepsister also was supposed to have a bunch of money for her education, only for it to mysteriously just dry up after her first year of university, with her mom telling her she spent all her 4 years of tuition in 1 year. So now she's paying her own way. Anyways, I've decided to basically keep my head down of the last year of high school and get out as soon as university starts. And never look back. This is one of those heartbreaking stories. I do think inheritance and money in general do something strange to a person, and it brings out a lot of toxicness in them. Unfortunately, OP was the victim in this scenario. Let me know if any of you guys watching this have had any inheritance dramas happen to you. Drop them down in the comment section below. Our next story on the day is an Am I the A-hole story. Here's the title. Am I the a-hole for not giving my son part of his trust fund early because he refuses to sign a prenup with his fiancée? My name's Mr. Reddito. I present daily stories. If you're into that kind of thing, check out the channel. Consider subscribing, and here comes the next story. Some background. I have 4 kids. My eldest is John, who's 27 male. He was with my first wife, who died when he was 5. I eventually remarried and got 2 stepdaughters, Lisa, who's 25, and Anne, who's 18. Then my second wife and I had Mike, who is now 13. My wife and I made sure to give them comfortable lives, and when John and Lisa graduated from university, we gifted them condo units. We will do the same when Anne and Mike graduate. Also, all of them have trust funds that will be released when they turn 30. I'm quite proud of my children. John and Lisa graduated from top universities. John has a high-paying job as an engineer, while Lisa pursued a master's degree in business while she worked in marketing. Eventually, she started her own marketing consulting firm while being a part owner of a spa. John recently got engaged to his girlfriend of 2 years, and they want to get married by the end of this year. She seems nice, however, she does not earn as much as him. My son spends a lot of money on her, on dates and expensive gifts. I understand that it's his money and he can spend it however he wants. She also moved in with him in the condo that I gave him, and as far as I know, she does not pay her share of utilities and association fees. And now, John is asking to get part of his trust fund early so he could use it for the wedding since his fiancée doesn't have much money to contribute for their wedding. Now, here's where I may be the a-hole. I told him I'd release part of his trust fund early if he draws up a prenup with her. He got angry and told me I was being unfair because I released half of Lisa's trust fund last year to help put up her business. He told me that I was playing favorites. I told him that Lisa did something worthwhile with her trust fund, and while a wedding is worthwhile, I told him it doesn't seem safe to use his fund for a wedding to a girl who, quote, doesn't bring much to the table. I told him that I just wanted him to save some security by drawing up a prenup. He got angrier and said I was implying that his fiancée is a gold digger. My wife and the rest of the family refused to take sides. Am I the a-hole? Okay, here's an update. The next day after I posted, I had a long conversation with my son. First, I apologized to him for making that comment about his fiancée. I realized it was demeaning and uncalled for. Second, I asked about their living arrangement. He did admit to paying for everything, including bills and food. She does the cooking sometimes, and he even pays for someone to clean because neither of them would. I asked if she's offered to pay, and he said no. I understand it's none of my business, but the fact that she's never offered is raising some red flags in my head. I gave him some things to think about and maybe discuss with her. Like, what would happen if he loses his job? Or, for some reason, God forbid, illness or an accident. He has to stop working. I told him that I have nothing against their arrangement and him spoiling her, but he has to be wiser about his spending habits. Third, I explained the importance of a prenup and said, did I have one with his mom and his stepmom? He still refused to because according to him, quote, it might offend her. Again, raising some flags. So, I'll stick to my decision and release his trust fund when he's 30, as we initially agreed on. He was not happy with this. Lastly, I asked what kind of wedding they planned to have, that they felt the need to use his trust fund. Apparently, she's dreaming of having a big wedding on the beach. She also wants to have a photo and video production to announce their engagement, which I think is ridiculous. They want it this year but can't afford it, as she's only paying for her wedding dress, and my son admitted that he doesn't have a lot of savings, probably from going on expensive dates and trips. I told him that it's not practical, but if they really want it, they should wait and save up for it. At this point, I was feeling better about my decision not to release his trust fund early. The way I see it, my son could go broke in a few years, paying for everything and spoiling his fiancé/wife. Their trust fund is the last thing all my kids will get from me. That being said, I may be the a-hole, but not a total a-hole to not support his wedding. My wife and I agreed to give them a certain amount that should cover a nice venue, and still have some leftover amount for expenses. It will be our wedding gift to them, and if he's still not happy, then there's nothing more I can do. If they go no contact or low contact, I'd still feel at peace with my decision. I've provided for him and tried to protect him. If she leaves him and he ends up losing everything, I'd hate for that to happen, but that's on him. But I do hope their marriage works out. So in my opinion on this story, the way that the father worded it does make him the a-hole, but I know he's trying to look out for the better of his son. There was a comment I came across that makes a lot of sense to me. I'll read it now. You're implying as his fiancée is a gold digger. That being said, as a family law attorney, I'm certainly aware of how much protection a prenup could grant your son. I think it is a wise idea, and it sounds like you approached it in the horribly wrong way. At the end of the day, if he needs the money that badly, he can always wait till he's 30. Guys, I do agree with that opinion, as I think it was very expressed well. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. Our final story on the day. Am I the a-hole? 17-year-old entered my car and stole things of value, and his mother thinks an apology is enough? Guys, this one gets pretty heated. Let's get right to it. We had a staycation this weekend. We visited a luxury local resort and parked our car with a valet. Upon departure, we found that items were missing. We reported it to the valet, and after investigating with the police, they found that some teens were going through the parking lot removing items from cars the valet left unlocked. Police reports were filed and the people were located. They happened to be guests at the hotel with their family. We were asked to meet with the mother at 7 p.m. to retrieve our items. Let me say that we are not rich. We work ducking hard. We have 3 children. We work days, nights, weekends just to be okay and get ahead. This day or night was some time for our family to enjoy themselves before headed back to weeks of non-stop work. Anyways, the mother arrives and sends her son with the security to, quote, apologize. I stated, I don't want an apology, I just want my stuff. Upon reviewing the bags I was handed, it was incomplete and there was still damage. It was sunglasses, Ray-Bans to be specific, a matching pair that I got my husband and I for Christmas. They were in great condition in their cases in the car. We literally used them in the car and put them back. We're weird like that. But the mother and son became aggressive, stating that's all he took and now we got it back, so they're done. No. Did I mention that we ducking work hard? Your kid just stole from me. She insulted me, called us bad people in front of our kids. She tried to use the quote, you're a mother card. Yes, I'm a mother, but I would sell my kid's stuff if he stole from you, or I'd make his 17-year-old ass work to pay it off. She kept stating I was incorrectly stating the value, so I pulled out the receipt. Don't you love how they email those things now? In the end, we left and will proceed with trying to go to court. The entitlement of that woman and her 17-year-old grown son was just too much for me. I do not accept your apology. You can't insult and berate someone and demand I accept your apology without a good faith effort to replace what was lost. I was a child. When I crashed, my dad paid, as parents were responsible for our children's actions, and teaching them sorry doesn't cut it. So, am I the a-hole? Adding, the mother kept stating that money's not an issue. She's a lawyer. So, it's not a situation where they couldn't just afford to make it right. She just felt she needed to. Okay, here's the update. Am I the a-hole for wanting to throw the book at him? For going after a reimbursement of some sort of punishment? Is he just a kid? Am I being petty? As someone who is empathetic to others, I've been unsure of my position. However, many of you have made me feel as I am not the a-hole, so thank you. Police are dragging their feet and stating that meeting with the family at the behest of the hotel has basically voided our claim to a burglary. The state attorney's office stated that it's not true. Let us see if the police and state attorney get it together. Absolutely not the a-hole is how I feel about this story. Honestly, maybe pressing charges on him now will help him in the long run. He's still a minor, not 18, and the way his mom is teaching him to just say sorry, I don't think he's ever going to learn a lesson to not steal until he learns the hard way. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. That's all the stories I have for you guys today. I truly hope you enjoyed each and every one. And remember, it's cool to be kind. Mr. Reddito will see you tomorrow.